The poll numbers are out, and Kamala Harris is up even more. That international stock market drop is gone, showing the narrative the stocks go down as her poll numbers increase is false. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz continue to have tens of thousands at events and meet with different groups as they travel the country. JD Vance is following Kamala Harris, speaking to a crowd of only press, and when faced with questions such as what makes him happy or why someone should have a beer with him, he completely fails to answer, not understanding what the questions are about. JD Vance keeps trying to claim that Kamala Harris is hiding, which makes absolutely no sense because she is doing constant rallies and meeting with groups. Reportedly, Donald Trump's campaign is closing field offices, removing ads, and is cutting back on rallies as this election gets closer. And now, Donald Trump is raging on True Social. Kamala refuses to do interviews because her team realizes she is unable to answer questions. Much like Biden was not able to answer questions, but for different reasons. He is just plain shot and she is just plain incompetent. Her policies of open borders, no fracking or drilling for oil in any way, shape, or form, transgender anything, anti-Israel but gross incompetence towards getting anything done for the Palestinians, no clue on inflation or the economy, unlimited money to fight foreign wars, and so much more are catastrophic. If she is elected, our country and indeed the world will suffer a 1929-style Great Depression. It will be the worst in history and America will be destroyed. Yeah, he started off strong here. And of course, this is a bunch of nonsense. She doesn't really need to do interviews right now because her campaign is literally hype picking up. She's traveling, doing what she's supposed to be doing at rallies. You know, the thing that Trump used to constantly do when his poll numbers were up and then stopped doing when his poll numbers went down. Now, what else do we have here? I will be doing a general news conference at 2 p.m. at Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach. Thank you. This is actually scaring quite a bit of MAGA. Some people believe that he's going to get rid of JD Vance or he's going to drop out. I don't see either of those, but MAGA is afraid of it. I expect he'll get up there and talk about how smart he is and he's doing this conference. He'll only probably take questions from the most far right of media and probably, ramble about Hannibal Lecter, but how Kamala Harris can't answer a question. It's so weird. I will expose Kamala during the debate the same way I expose Crooked Joe, Hillary, and everyone else during debates. Only I think Kamala will be easier. DJT. Now, the thing is, Trump has backed out of the debate. Don't ever forget that. Trump backed out of the debate. There isn't a debate at Fox News that he claims there is. There is a debate at ABC that he agreed to, that he backed out of. And also remember that J.D. Vance won't debate Tim Walz either. He's announced that as well. They've completely backed out of the debates, blaming the other side. Trump's basically gone into hiding, isn't doing his rallies. Then they complain that Kamala Harris must be in hiding. It's so weird how they're just projecting so hard. We are living in a pro-criminal atmosphere. It will end on November 5th. Remember, Trump is a 34-time felon. This election is about the economy, inflation, open borders, illegal immigration, respect for our nation, preventing World War III, and a 1929-style depression. So this was really funny and kind of shows how Trump's age in a lot of ways. And the thing is, this is entirely based off of that one single day stock market drop that you can just already see wasn't a thing. Like, that's why no conservative media covers it anymore. It's because the stock market's just back. Like, it was a one-day blip, and he can't let go of it. Just like he can't let go of sharks and batteries. That he thinks windmills cause cancer. He can't let go of Hannibal Lecter. It's really weird. It's really old, and he's gonna probably still complain about that one day on the stock market through this entire election. He's got nothing else. He has no policy. It's just complain, repeat, and it's just not working anymore. If Kamala has 1,000 people at a rally, I think we need to stop right here. She does not have 1,000 people at a rally. She has tens of thousands, and her rally numbers actually fill up the stadiums. Meanwhile, Trump's numbers show empty seats, and they claim they have more people inside than can even legally, physically be held inside of these venues that he has. and he lies about his numbers. But don't worry, he's definitely going to lie here. If Kamala has 1,000 people at a rally, the press goes crazy and talks about how big it was, and she pays for her crowd. When I have a rally and 100,000 people show up, the fake news doesn't talk about it. They refuse to mention crowd size. The fake news is the enemy of the people. No, they talk about crowd size because they always talk about crowd size because Trump always lies about his crowd size, and all they have to do is, get official numbers from like the fire marshal or the police, and he's always lying by an extreme number about how many people are there. He doesn't get 100,000. He can't. He's really upset because the Harris campaign is literally doing these rallies at venues that Trump has been to and can fill the seats when Trump can't. That is what's really freaking him out. It's what's really scaring him. And Trump is all about lying about his crowd size. Remember his inauguration. Literally one of the first things he did as president was lie about how huge his inauguration was, when you can go and compare it to Obama's, for example. He tried to claim it was bigger than Obama's, and we know better. We can see it. It's all there. It's public. It's videos. But ignore your eyes. Ignore your eyes. Donald Trump is really mad. And then he just started spamming opinion pieces like multiple a minute. So this is where Trump's at, right? He is on the back foot. He's canceling rallies. He's not having rallies. He is closing offices. He's complaining about things that are multi-days old. He can't keep up with the news. He can't keep up with what's actually happening. J.D. Vance, I mean, you asked J.D. Vance, right? Like, why should someone have a beer with you? And he thought it was literally about why someone should drink beer with him. And his response was basically, I really like beer and sometimes I drink too much. And when asked by another softball, like, what makes him happy? Like, an easy question, right? It was from a conservative journalist who said, like, my family. That's what he's trying to run on, right? And instead, he is angry that he got asked the question. And, of course, they're trying to attack Tim Walz for his service in the military, which Tim Walz served 24 years, and he retired months before he, of course, applied to retire, months later retired. Months after that, his unit was told they're going to be deployed, and then almost a year later, they finally deployed. And, like, you can Google that, because this was like a failed attack on him before he won the governorship. Like, this failed already. It's an old attack that failed, but they don't have anything else. Now MAGA is trying to make horse semen drinking a thing. I know you might be confused on that. Maybe you haven't seen that one. No, they're not talking about how they drink it to be more manly, by the way. They're trying to claim that Tim Walz drinks it because they're like, this is just like the couch thing. Ha ha ha. The right can't meme. And what's really funny is they got really, really upset and like personally offended when Tim Walz talked about J.D. Vance getting off the couch. And what was so funny about that, the best part about that, is the average voter doesn't know about the couch meme. So any average voter that saw the conservative complaining about that statement, they just think J.D. Vance is being called lazy, which he was. And that statement being said, they see outrage. Well, why is everyone mad? Because they say J.D. Vance has sex with couches. Imagine being an average voter, right? And you think that the Republican VP is being called lazy and he's backed out of the debates. You're like, oh, that makes sense. And then there's like other angry MAGA that are like, no, you don't get it. They say J.D. Vance had sex with furniture. And they like think that telling that to the average person is going to be some own on the Democrats that was part of the joke. Wild. Weird.